Hello everyone, I am making Shea Butter I'm with other ingredients. I'm calling it Rough Spot, and that's because it's for the rough spots. I am using, let me get the camera a little closer, I'm using steric acid. Oh, sorry, that is my Pola wax. That's not my steric acid. And my steric acid, I used the big bag that I ordered yesterday, so I really did put steric acid in it. But this is not steric acid. Okay. I used coconut oil. I used aloe vera gel. And this one is a dietary supplement, so I believe it can be taken internally. And when I read the ingredients, it was just like almost only aloe vera. It might have only been. I forgot to turn the lights on. Let me turn the light on. Okay. I mean, I saw aloe vera gel at the health food store, but it had all kinds of ingredients. And so this has a thickening agent, citric acid, and potassium sorbate, and of course aloe vera. So when I looked at all the other ones, there was all kinds of words, tons of words, but this one here just said aloe vera gel, and it's for internal use, and it had the least amount of ingredients. So that's why I bought that one. I'm using local grown honey from Valley Head. I'm using my Germaben 2 preservative, oops, sorry, too high, from Brambleberry. I'm using my my vegetable glycerin from New Directions Aromatics. I'm using vitamin E from Walmart because I ran out. There's no health food store where I am. I have to drive a long ways to one, and I ran out unexpectedly, and I forgot to order when I ordered from New Directions, and I forgot to order when I ordered from Brambleberry, so I had to run down to Walmart. Maybe it will be okay. I'm using my extra virgin olive oil that is first press cold press that I bought at the health food store, and then I'm using my Shea Butter that I bought from Soaper's Choice, and I hope you can see that. There we go. And it's the beige. Ooh, that was good. I got some of that on my skin. I needed it too. I'm using my postage scale to measure everything, and I'm using my empty jars that I got from SKS Bottles. This is the 4-ounce double wall jar, and I made 2 recipes. The first one I made just a little tiny batch just for me, but I was afraid it would separate. Like, you heat it all up and you blend it together, but then will it, you know, separate and like some of the ingredients float to the bottom? But I have found that it appears that it didn't, and because I got this spoonful out, and that's, you know, dipped out of the center. And when I look down the bottom, it doesn't look like, you know, all the olive oil floated to the bottom or the glycerin did. And you can see that when you touch this, sorry, got it out of camera, you can see when you touch this, it just starts melting. And so this has everything but the aloe vera, because I'm allergic to aloe vera. So I wanted one, and this is without whipping it. I just heated up the oils, cooled it down, put the preservative in, and stuck it right in the freezer with saran wrap on top. And then when it had solidified, I put the lid on it, and this is mine. So this is just slick, and like a, you know, like a solid Vaseline, but much firmer, and you can't see through it. And you can see that light green tendency in it from the olive oil, because my olive oil is really green. And I had a bunch on my hands, way too much, and you can see how shiny it is, but you give that just 2 or 3 minutes and it soaks right in. So let's go over the recipe. I'm going to bring you back, though. I've got to turn off the camera just for a moment to get my recipe out. Okay, that's my list. Really sloppy, sorry. So I'm going to read it to you. This made 11 containers, I believe. You'll see that video in just a minute. 11 ounces of shea butter, 6 ounces of coconut oil, 4 ounces of olive oil, 1 ounce of steric acid, 1 ounce of honey, 1 ounce of glycerin, 0.01 of vitamin E, 2 ounces of aloe vera, and 0.3 ounces of the Germaben Preservative. And so I'm going to say that again, and I'll put this in the description, and I might put it in flash, you know, the little flashcards that's in the thing, so you can write it down that way. Just pause and write it down. Well, I knocked something off. So anyway, so what I did is I put all of it. Oh, I'm also using alcohol. Anna, would you get my pump bottle? This was not goat's milk lotion, but I've seen on YouTube. No, it's over there where I was working. It's smaller. I've seen on YouTube where people sprayed their utensils down with alcohol like you buy in the store for your boo-boos. So I poured some in a clean spray bottle, and I sprayed all my utensils, spoons, bowls, measuring facilities, everything with alcohol, including the jars, because I couldn't put them in the dishwasher. I mean, I could put the bottoms in, but this has a paper top. That's paper. There's a paper cap in there, so I couldn't boil them. Sorry. I couldn't boil them, and I couldn't put them in the dishwasher, so I sprayed them with the alcohol before I did anything else, so it would have plenty of time to evaporate. And that sanitized my containers, and I sanitized all my utensils with that. And then I added all my ingredients in a bowl except for the preservative, and I heated it in the microwave. And I did it like 2 minutes, and then I stirred it really good, and then it took 1 more minute, and when that minute was over, I just left it in the microwave to steep, you might say, while I did other things. And I came back about 15 minutes later, and it was good and warm, and but not so hot it burnt my fingers. So then I whipped it with my blender, my mixer, for 10 minutes, and I slowly worked it up on high. Then I put it in the freezer for 5 minutes, and then I whipped it for another 10 minutes. And then I put it in the freezer for 20 minutes, and then I whipped it for about 20 minutes. And when this last stage happened, and I'm going to show you the clip of that, the bowl was so cold that it was refreezing to the sides, and so I had to keep working it, scraping it in. And then once that happened, I put it in a Ziploc bag, and I've got a little clip of that. You're going to see that. And then I put it in my containers. And so that is how I made this. Would you go get us one out of the freezer? Once I put the lid on it, then I put it in the freezer, and it's been in there for about 5, maybe 10 minutes. I don't think it's going to separate, but I wanted to make sure that it didn't. Say the first thing I think. So anyway, so this is it, And I've tried to put a nice little swirl on it, and I've got a clip so you can see me doing that. So this is the body butter. And you also, I've got a clip of someone trying it. And then this is the one where I just melted it and just put it in there. And this, I may do this one next time, because I think that, for one thing, it's easier, but I like the fact that when you pour it in, there's no chance of air bubbles. And I didn't whip this as long as most people do, I don't think. Let me open it back up. But this is whipped, and so I'm told in a few months it's going to deflate. And I tried not to whip mine to the extent that everybody else does, that I've seen on TV, because I didn't want my customers' body butter to deflate. And if you hold this, no, if you, let me get the spoon out of it. If you hold the two, this one is heavier, so I'm giving them more product here, and that way it's going to last them longer, and I think they're getting more bang for their buck, you know. And it's, you know, it's easy to put on. It's not hard to deal with, and it'll have a real pretty level top, because I just poured it in there and stuck it right in the freezer. So I just laid a plastic wrap on top. So, and see, it just melts real easy and becomes workable to rub into your rough spots, because that's what this is for. This is for rough spots. And I think this would be really great for persons with that skin irritation. Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but where they get patches of really bad skin. What's that called? I don't know. I can't remember either, and I always have trouble remembering it. Eczema. Eczema, that's it. I think this would be really great for people with eczema. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this, and keep watching, because there's some clips coming up next. Okay, this is what it looked like when I thought it was done enough. Now I'm going to mix it just a little bit more, because I froze it for 20 minutes in my freezer, and so the side of this bowl is so cold that it is freezing back right next to the bowl. So I didn't want a complete body butter that was real super airy, because I wanted people to get their money's worth for one thing. And just from looking at all the body butter videos, it looked like you were putting a lot of air in there, and with putting a lot of air in there, I felt like that, and it showed on, I think it was the Soap Queen, how that after a few months it would deflate a little. And so I'm trying to get it cold enough and whipped enough that it won't separate while it is hardening. So that is why I'm whipping it, but I don't want it in a complete body butter. And I think this, from looking at the videos, I think that this is much thicker than what you normally see when it is finished as a body butter. I think. I may be wrong. So let's turn it back on. So I think that this is going to make me happy, because it's cold enough that I don't think it will separate, but yet it is whipped enough that it is stiff and easier to add to the jars. So I think I'm going to be happy with this. We'll see if my customers are happy with this later. Okay, here is my containers, and there's my lids, and I have put my solution in a bag, but left an air bubble right here, and then got all the rest of the air out of it. and I'm going to cut that tip and use it as a piping bag to put my solution in my containers. And when I first started this process, I sprayed all the containers and the lids on the inside with alcohol, and so it has completely dissolved and is no longer, it has evaporated. So that's what I did for sanitation, because as you know, I tried to boil the bottles that I got for lotion, and they melted, and this has a paper lid, so I couldn't boil the caps and I couldn't put them in the dishwasher. So I decided to choose that route. Please tell me what you think of that. I would love your opinion. So now I'm going to cut the tip off of this, and I'm going to start piping it in the container. Okay, I have taken the back of this knife and just slowly worked all of the final residue of this down towards the opening, and I'm going to just keep working with it so that I don't lose any in the bag. So see how I'm doing that? I think I will end up having another ounce total, maybe a half an ounce, when I get done ready to go into a container. Okay, here is my finished product. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of this recipe, and I'm sure I've already gave you the recipe in this video by now. And I wanted to show you a little trick I figured out to make sure that you don't have air pockets in your lotion. So here is the pot, and I piped it in. I just took and squeezed it in, and I stuck the pipe all the way to the bottom and then slowly brought it up, and I swirled as I went. And then I take this little whisk, it's a little tiny whisk, and I worked around, and then I slowly stir like this, and that gives a pretty top, and you're pretty sure that you don't have any air bubbles, more so than if you had not. I really feel like that you won't have any air bubbles compared to just piping it in. With piping it in, I feel like you probably get air bubbles all around as it swirls. So that's just a helpful hint. Hello, I just wanted to show you how I did the math on how much preservative to use. I went to the SoapCow.net website, and I changed it from pounds to ounces. I changed the super fat to 0 just for safety's sake. I didn't think it would affect it, but just checking. And then I just clicked on the first 2 oils on the list. I changed it from percentage to ounces, and I have, my recipe was 27.1 ounces, and then I had to play with it. I first put 1 ounce, and that came out too much, so finally I put in 0.3, and if you'll see here, that is 1.09% of my recipe, and I wanted it at 1%, and that is very, very, very close. I called Brambleberry, where I ordered the preservative, and that seemed like okay to her as well, that it was just a slight fudge more. And so that's how I did my recipe to see how much preservative I needed to use, because there's not a preservative calculator out there anywhere, and I'm calculator dependent, and I never was good with calculating pi. so anyway, so that's how I did it, and that's a system that you can use as well. Also, of course, this is great for calculating your soap recipes. Alright, this is my friend Anna's hands, and Anna, you tried this about how long ago?
30 minutes ago.
Alright, and did it feel a little greasy when you first put it on?
When I first put it on, yes, and then it got soft.
How long did it take to absorb into the skin?
Maybe 1 minute, minute and a half.
Okay. And what do you think the difference is? Does your skin feel different in any way?
Feels softer.
All right. And so now I'm going to put the remnants from my spatula. Now wait just a second, Anna. Now see how that's melting on her skin? That's the Shea Butter. It warms up and gets real liquefied when it gets warm. Alright, go ahead. And I may have gave you too much, so you can rub that up your arms.
Yeah, you did. Just a little bit.
Alright, now show us your hands. Do you think I gave you a little bit too much?
Yeah, you did. Just a little bit.
Alright, so let's see. Yeah, you definitely got a little bit too much. Rub that up your arms real heavy, all the way up. And keep working it in. Now, does that feel about right?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Still getting a little...
But does it feel like it's soaking in?
Yes,
It
is.
Alright, now let's see. Now see that light sheen that she has on her hand? That is from this product that I've made. But it all just absorbs right in.
It does.
It may take 3 minutes on you.
I know, right?
Because I gave you too much. Alright. But you know, too much of a lot of things can be bad. But too much of this, I don't think will be bad.
No.